A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media bringing you another graphic novel kind of review, I guess. This time we are looking at Flashpoint Beyond by Geoff Johns. This is the successor to Flashpoint, which was a graphic novel that came out many, many years ago, a story I should say, that came out many, many years ago, in which the Flash travels back in time to stop the murder of his mother. Those of you that are familiar with Barry Allen's Flash character, his mother was murdered, which kind of spurred him to become a forensic pathologist guy who, that was the reason why he was in the lab when the lightning hit and he got the chemicals and made him become the Flash and blah, 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 blah. But he figured he could go back in time, stop his mother from being murdered, and that would kind of fix his whole family. What actually happened is he created this whole other fucking universe, the Flashpoint universe, in which he has no powers. Bruce Wayne was killed in the alley instead of Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne. And there are very few kind of metahumans around. Everyone's backstories have been changed. Atlantis is at war with Themyscira, and a whole lot of wicked shit happens, and we find out that it's all the machinations of the Reverse Flash earboard thrown. I believe that this is going to be somewhat the plot of the Flash film, which is fucking cool. If you don't want to read the comic book, you can go and watch the Flashpoint Paradox, which is a DC EU animated film, which is phenomenal. But that is basically what you need to know when it comes to Flashpoint. At the end of the Flashpoint story, Thomas Wayne killed the Reverse Flash, thus resetting the timeline, which led into the New 52. So it was reset, but there were some changes that pissed off a lot of people. We've gone through the New 52. We're into the DC Universe Rebirth. We've gone through that. And this is one of those stories, Flashpoint Beyond. If you don't want to have this spoiled, turn it off now. But I will just say straight away, I fucking love this. So yeah, let's get right into the next episode of...
Read a fucking book. 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 People.
So this is Flashpoint Beyond, written by Geoff Johns. This is a continuation of the fantastic Flashpoint story, which I know pissed a lot of people off, but I really, really enjoyed it. Now, the reason I am reviewing this is twofold. First, just because this was one of my most anticipated graphic novels. I really, really was looking forward to this one, and it did not disappoint. And secondly, I'm going to see The Flash tomorrow, and from what I can gather from the trailers, Flashpoint, not necessarily this, but the original Flashpoint, was kind of like the unofficial inspiration for the plot of that film. So there you go. So this is Flashpoint Beyond. First of all, the cover. This is the Thomas Wayne version of Batman. And you can see he has Aquaman's trident there. And no idea how he gets that, but let's just get straight into it. Okay, so we have kind of the epilogue here. We have a clock with blood on it, a photograph. We don't know who these people are at this point. 5G averted. And we find out that Batman has actually broken into the hideouts, I guess you could say, of the Time Masters in order to steal an object, a globe. He is accompanied by Mime and this other woman. Don't quite know who those characters are at this stage. But they are there because they can kind of sense ripples in time, or temporal energy, I should say. There is a blackboard which says Thomas Wayne will die. Thomas Wayne, of course, being Bruce Wayne's father, which he crosses off. We then get the prologue to the Clockwork Killer storyline. We see the Flash. We see Thomas Wayne at a gravestone. We see Thomas Wayne as Batman. And this mysterious figure here. Now, at this point in the story, Thomas Wayne is drunk. He has his version of Alfred is actually the Penguin, Oswald Cobblepot. And Harvey Dent comes to him and says, I'm going to arrest you for the murder of Joe Chill. So in this reality, Joe Chill did not, in fact, kill Thomas and Martha Wayne, but instead killed Bruce. And Thomas Wayne takes up the mantle of Batman, pardon me, and goes on to kill Joe Chill. And Harvey Dent says, I'm going to charge you with murder unless you go to Arkham Asylum and you talk to my wife, Gilda. Now we find out that Harvey Dent and Gilda Dent's daughter has killed herself, and Harvey Dent blames Thomas for this. Thomas just walks away, and he's in the elevator going down to the Batcave, and he can't understand why this is happening. The Flashpoint timeline should not exist anymore. He shouldn't exist anymore. Why does he remember it? We also find out at this point that in this Flashpoint timeline, the Joker is in fact Martha Wayne. After witnessing Bruce get killed by Joe Chill in the alley, she went crazy and she becomes this reality's Joker. We get a bit of backstory as to the world itself. We know that the Atlanteans, led by Aquaman, are at war with the Themyscirians, led by Wonder Woman. And the world is kind of on the brink here. So Thomas Wayne goes to his Batcave, and he's written everything matters, but he doesn't believe that. He believes that nothing matters anymore. And then something kind of crashes down, which he follows after getting the gun that he used to kill Joe Chill. We find out that he's gone to stalk Barry Allen, who is the Flash. Barry Allen, in this reality, doesn't have any powers. If he is just really a forensic pathologist, so to speak. We find out that he's constantly late. He stands up a date with a woman in his building, and she says, listen, you're a nice guy and all, but you got to get your shit together. Barry goes into his apartment, and Thomas Wayne is waiting for him. Thomas Wayne realizes that Barry is the key to all of this. That if this reality exists, that means his son is dead. But he knows that in the regular DC continuity, Bruce is alive and is Batman, and he wants to fix this reality, basically get rid of it so that Bruce Wayne can live as Batman. He doesn't realize that these things are kind of happening concurrently. He tries to explain it to Barry Allen that he becomes the Flash. Barry doesn't believe him, so he ends up drugging him to recreate the experiment that caused Barry to become the Flash. So he puts him up on the roof of a building, strapped into like an electric chair. He's got all the chemicals there, and he's just waiting for a lightning strike to hit, and that will imbue Barry with the Speed Force. Now, the reason he knows how to do this is because in the original Flashpoint, Barry actually came to him and convinced him that he needed to get his speed powers back and taught him how to do it. And they electrocuted Barry, and Barry got his speed powers back. So Thomas is just recreating that experiment. However, just before the lightning strikes, something shoots out the tanks that have the chemicals in them. And without the chemicals, if Barry gets struck by lightning, well, he basically dies. So Thomas has failed. He basically has just killed Barry Allen, or whoever shot out the chemical vats killed Barry Allen. So he goes off hunting for that person and finds them. This character is called the Scavenger, and he basically is trying to explain to Thomas Wayne as Batman that we're no different and I can work with you. And Thomas Wayne is just trying to work out who sent him to kill Barry Allen. And during the fight, he tells Batman that he was sent by Aquaman. Thomas Wayne doesn't want to kill this guy. He wants to live up to the ideals that his son Bruce lives up to. But ultimately, the rage takes over, and he ends up killing the Scavenger. At this point, we find out that oh, I'm sorry. I skipped a whole part here. I skipped this part, which is very important. I apologize for this. Harvey Dent gets killed in a car bomb. Someone kills Harvey Dent, but Batman manages to rescue his son, and Harvey Dent's son. And the son is the one that points Batman on the trail of the Scavenger, and there you go. Yep. So, Thomas Wayne comes and basically tells the commissioner that he will take Harvey Dent's son in and kind of help him. Then we go to Arkham Asylum, where we find out that the commissioner is telling Gilda that Harvey's dead. And then in the second epilogue, Batman, our continuity Batman, is in the Batcave, and he is visited by this figure who is one of the Time Masters, a group led by Rip Hunter, whose job it is to basically protect time and temporal energy. And they know that Batman broke into their secret hideout and stole a snow globe. And that moves us into Chapter 1 of The Clockwork Killer. We get a little bit of Flashpoint backstory here about how Barry Allen almost destroyed the world. And then we go into The Clockwork Killer, Chapter 1. So we have a news report explaining that there is a global threat while Thomas Wayne and Harvey Dent's kid are kind of eating. Oswald comes in. Thomas Wayne asks him to look after the kid. He has some business to attend to. Oswald is basically, I'm not a babysitter. Thomas Wayne is like, you'll work it out. Just do it. And he heads down to the Batcave. At this point, Oswald asks the kid, what does he want to do? And the kid goes, I want you to teach me how to use a gun. And Oswald is like, sure thing. No problem there. So down in the Batcave, we see Thomas Wayne getting ready. He's getting the gun that he used to kill Joe Chill. And we get the whole kind of backstory of the Atlanteans at war with the Themyscirans. At this point, Thomas Wayne Batman is prepared to head to Atlantis to confront Aquaman to find out why he wanted Barry Allen dead. We see that Wonder Woman has been captured, tied up with her own lasso, if you are familiar with Wonder Woman lore, then the only way to subdue her is if she's tied up by a man. Which may seem kind of crazy, but the creator of Wonder Woman, the gentleman who also created the lie detector, hence the lasso of truth, had some serious sex stuff going on in real life. So the Atlanteans' guards are kind of taunting her. She rips off one of their tentacles. And then Thomas Wayne comes out of the water and kills both of them. He frees Diana, and he asks her, I need to borrow the lasso of truth because I need to find out exactly why Barry Allen was killed. He goes and finds Aquaman, gets him around the throat with the lasso of truth, and Aquaman confesses it wasn't him that sent the guy to kill Barry Allen, the scavenger. It wasn't him. He had the lasso of truth around him, so you know that he's telling the truth. He beats the shit out of Batman, and then he's looking around for his trident. Once he touches the trident to this orb, this whole place is going to sink. I believe it's in Britain. He's going to sink beneath the waves. And he's looking for his trident, and he finds it after Wonder Woman stabs him right through the back with it and basically tells Batman, get the fuck out of here. Okay, so once Thomas Wayne gets back to Wayne Manor, he sees that Oswald has set up a shooting gallery in the manor itself, and the kid is just going crazy, shooting at these targets and whatnot. He goes down, after having a little back and forth with Oswald, he goes down to the Batcave. At this point, the Flash, in our continuity, comes to see Batman. I believe this character is called Corky, warns him that Rip Hunter is going to come and kind of get him. He's got to be careful. So the cover of the next issue has Psycho Pirate and Thomas Wayne. And basically we see that all of the people that have been killed by this so-called Clockwork Killer have been time travelers or in some way able to manipulate the time stream. So we see Oswald and Thomas have their back and forth. We find out that the Wayne Casino has been bombed and is no longer there. It's just completely rubble and people have died. And Thomas goes to the scene of the casino bombing, where he's trying to work out kind of who did it. Are there any clues? And we get this idea of hyper time now. So he breaks in to Arkham Asylum, finds the Psycho Pirate has hung himself, which was pretty shocking, to be perfectly honest with you. That's a fantastic picture, though. So as he's kind of investigating Psycho Pirate's cell, he hears someone say, "What did you do with my boy?" And it is Gilda Dent, who is in Arkham Asylum. So he's trying to kind of talk with her. She passes him a Wayne Casino chip, hinting that she might have something to do with the bombing. And basically they're talking about her daughter who apparently killed herself. So she winds up Thomas Wayne by bringing up Bruce and what happened, and Thomas Wayne punches out the glass in the cell door, to which Gilda uses it to cut off half of her face, thus becoming this reality's Two-Face. So we have Thomas Wayne now kind of doing his Batman thing and fighting these like villains that are just like criminals that are just trying to steal this woman's purse, but showing more restraint than he otherwise would have in the past. Then we get this reality Superman coming down and basically he's asking Thomas Wayne for help. But Thomas Wayne keeps saying nothing matters. Superman is saying everything matters. Then we get this snow globe, the one that Batman took from the Time Master's hideout, or laboratory, I should say. And again, Corky is kind of warning him that he is in deep shit for stealing from Rip Hunter. Okay, so we find out in this reality that a rocket ship was launched from Krypton, but instead of landing in the Kansas or the Smallville field to be found by Jonathan and Martha Kent, it in fact crashed into Metropolis and decimated the city, killing hundreds of thousands of people. Oswald is talking to the kid. We get a little of Reverse Flash kind of appearing and then disappearing. And now we find out why Superman, this reality Superman, has come to see Thomas Wayne. Batman doesn't really appreciate Superman kind of stepping in here, tries to fight him, but of course gets knocked out with one punch. Back in Arkham Asylum, we see Gilda Dent with her face bandaged, still holding the Wayne Casino chip, kind of talking to herself. At this point, Thomas Wayne wakes up in an area that Poison Ivy has kind of created, this paradise with the help of Swamp Thing. And we find out that Superman needs help because there is going to be an alien invasion. We have Jor-El using the Kryptonian technology combined with Swamp Thing's mystical kind of power over the green, warning that Krypton wasn't destroyed, that Kal-El was sent to Earth to kind of pave the way for an alien invasion. The Kryptonians are on their way, and that Kal-El should get the Earth prepared. Now, Kal-El doesn't like this idea. He's come to love the humans, to respect them, and so he needs help in stopping this Kryptonian invasion. And he's teamed up with Swamp Thing, he's teamed up with Poison Ivy, and they want Thomas Wayne's help. And Thomas Wayne says, fuck you, no way, no dice, I'm out. Okay, at this point, we have another Clockwork killing, and we find out that it is the Reverse Flash, Eobard Thrawn. Now, these Clockwork killings, whoever is doing these murders is removing their insides and filling them up with clockwork gears, which is both disgusting and fucking cool, in my personal opinion. Now we have the Time Hunters who are traveling through temporal energy, and basically hyper time. And Thomas Wayne being still around is the main problem they're having with hyper time. So basically they need this Flashpoint universe to go away like it did before, because it's fucking up all the time streams. So we have Gilda kind of talking to herself a little bit. The autopsy on Eobard Thawne is revealing all the gears. And when Thomas Wayne goes back to the house, Oswald is there kind of doing his thing with the boy. The boy has gone down into the Batcave and has found the Robin suit and now fancies himself as the new Robin. He thinks this is the way he's going to get to see his mother again. Back at the mansion, Oswald basically explains to Thomas Wayne that the boy is down in the Batcave. We get this van going into Arkham Asylum. The boy has climbed onto the roof of it. Thomas is pissed off at Oswald. Oswald is like, you've got to go and help this kid. And Thomas is like, no, I've got more important things to do. And Oswald is like, fuck you, man. Just go help the kid, man. And ultimately, the kid manages to break into Arkham Asylum. How he gets these martial arts abilities, it's never fully explained. But this is Flashpoint and a comic book, so I don't really care. He ends up finding his mother with this great kind of side-by-side paneling of Thomas Wayne trying to piece these gears together and the boy breaking in and finally finding his mother in Arkham Asylum. So they have a reunion, and the voices in her head are telling her one thing and she's got the maternal instinct, so it's saying something else. Thomas realizes where these gears and everything have come from. It's a clock that has always been broken in Wayne Manor. And during the reunion, at the same time that this is going on, so Thomas Wayne kind of realizes who the Clockwork Killer is, and we get our first look at Martha Wayne as the Joker. Our first real look at Martha Wayne as the Joker. She's been using Arkham Asylum and the secret passages to kind of come and go at her leisure. At this point, the temporal energies in the snow globe, we kind of get the idea that the snow globe itself is containing the Flashpoint universe, very similar to what they did at the end of the Onslaught saga, where all of the heroes disappeared, but Franklin Richards had that ball, which contained all of the heroes. So the temporal energies are really starting to kind of fuck up now. Batman is still trying to save his father and the Flashpoint universe, and the Time Masters kind of want the Flashpoint universe gone because it's the thing that's fucking everything up. So now we have kind of a talk show with Mr. Terrific, and they're talking about all the kind of problems with all these different timelines. And then here we have the Divine Continuum, which is the Omniverse and Hypertime, and Hypertime becomes Limbo. And then we have the Multiverse, and we have the Dark Multiverse, and so on and so forth. And this is just a way to catch the readers up on all the different multiverses and storylines and crises that have been going on throughout the modern DC continuity. Batman goes to see Ra's al Ghul, and Ra's al Ghul has files on the Time Masters and whatnot, but he's not going to help. Thomas Wayne, at this point, realizes who the Clockwork Killer is and races to Arkham Asylum. Now, Martha Wayne, as the Joker, has a plan, but Gilda doesn't kind of want that plan to come to fruition. And Martha is like, no, you've got to let me do it. At this point, Thomas busts through the roof. We get these great panels of all the bad shit that's happened to Batman and Robin and death in the family and all that kind of cool stuff. In the glass shards. I thought that was a great page. And he's trying to stop Martha. So he and Martha fight, and Gilda is still holding her son. The fight kind of gets vicious. Thomas manages to shut off the guards, so they're kind of isolated in Arkham Asylum. And he basically follows her through the secret passages down to where her ultimate machine is. This is the thing that she has been working on. This is the thing that is going to save her son, Bruce. And in order to build it, she needed time travelers, which is why she had time travelers help her construct it. And then she killed them with the clockwork gears. The clockwork gears, of course, being a clue that she knew Thomas as Batman would follow, because there are 2 seats in this thing. Thus, you need 2 people to fuel it. At this point, while Martha is telling Thomas we have to do this, Rip Hunter arrives in the Batcave ready to stop Batman. He and Batman have a back and forth about fucking up the timeline. Batman is Batman and Rip Hunter is just being an arrogant prick. And it's all revolving around this snow globe, which Batman kind of grabs. Rip Hunter begs him to break it, to get rid of it. The Flashpoint continuity has to end. Martha is trying to convince Thomas that they need to use this device to travel back to that point in Crime Alley where Bruce was killed, and they have to be killed instead. During this comic as well, it's alluded to that she knows the actual name of the Joker. Somewhere in here. It was kind of dumb, and it's just a throwaway thing, and I don't know if DC are going to be using it in the future, but she's talked to multiverse versions of herself, Psycho Pirate and whatnot. It was a whole weird thing. So they kiss, and they're about to kind of use it when the new Two-Face with her son comes down and threatens to kill the kid because the kid shouldn't exist at all. Martha kind of tries to explain to Gilda why they are doing what they're doing. We get this viewpoint from all of these characters that have been affected by this Flashpoint paradox, so to speak. And Thomas Wayne realizes at this point that there is a boy that needs saving. However, it's not Bruce. This kid doesn't want to die. Corky throws the raccoon hat at Batman, which becomes an actual raccoon, and Batman's like, well, that's new. And Gilda doesn't want to be kind of put back in the cell. Martha is still trying to get Thomas to get into the time machine. As she does, Thomas goes after Gilda and basically sets off an explosion. Gilda sets off an explosion that decimates Arkham Asylum, and she's about to kill the kid, but then Thomas Wayne kills her instead Oh, sorry, Martha Wayne kills her, not Thomas. Martha kills her by shooting her in the head. There is a huge explosion. Arkham is decimated, but Thomas, Martha, and the boy manage to escape, and they watch it burn as it starts to snow. They are in a snow globe, mind you. It's at this point that Rip Hunter kind of realizes that Batman was basically betting on his father to not go back in time and stop the death of Bruce Wayne in the Flashpoint universe, but he was betting that his father would basically destroy that time machine, in which point putting the Flashpoint universe and temporal energies in hypertime back into a calming state, which is one hell of a gamble. So we find out that Oswald is still working for Thomas Wayne. The boy is the new Robin, and Martha Kent is in a specialized holding cell in the Batcave. The boy is like, are we going to tell anyone that your wife didn't die in the explosion? And Thomas Wayne says, nope. And basically takes the boy off to become the new Robin in this new Flashpoint universe that now fully exists in this snow globe. The Time Hunters, the Time Masters, I should say, are talking about how can we punish Batman because he was being such a fucking prick. And they allude to something that's going to happen in Batman's future. They're just not going to warn him about it and let him fucking deal with it. And then we have these 13, which have been kind of transported back to the 1940s where they belong. And time is fixing itself around each of these characters. So we have the Golden Age Mr. Miracle, the Golden Age Legionnaire, Quiz Kid, the Golden Age Aquaman, the Harlequin's son, Judy Garrick, Betty Ross, Molly Pitcher, Ladybug, Salem the Witch Girl, Cherry Bomb, John Henry Jr., and the Golden Age Red Lantern. Then it cuts to this character who has come in looking for the Watchmen. Now we find out through the course of this that a lot of this temporal energy and the reclaiming of the Flashpoint universe is because Dr. Manhattan from the Watchmen is now part of the mainstream DC continuity, and they actually wrote a number of stories which brought other Watchmen characters into mainstream DC continuity. So this ends with this character and what looks like the creature that Ozymandias had in the Watchmen comics and in the Watchmen film, looking for the Watchmen itself. And that is how Flashpoint Beyond ends. What did I think of this story? Now, I haven't read DC Comics for a long, long time. This came out at a point where I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Absolutely loved it. I knew enough about Flashpoint, enough about Thomas Wayne to get an understanding of what was happening. Martha Wayne as the Joker is just freaking cool. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. I thought this is a great graphic novel. I thought it was a great story. I thought it offered a lot to the lore. And in my opinion, this is a must-read for any fan of DC Comics and for any fan of Flashpoint. Now, I know Flashpoint was a very, very kind of... It split people... it split fans down the middle. There were some people that enjoyed Flashpoint because Flashpoint led on to the New 52. There were some people that absolutely hated that it was rewriting DC comic history. And I get it. I understand that. And it's a very valid argument to make that you've been following these characters for so many years and then suddenly, oh, look, Superman is no longer with Lois Lane, but he's now dating Wonder Woman. Yeah, I get it. There are things in the New 52 that annoyed people, but the Flashpoint story was epic, and Flashpoint Beyond just as epic, in my personal opinion. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video, but most importantly, stay safe, have a fantastic rest of your day, and please read a fucking book, people.